Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. So I'm actually going to be washing up the F80 in this video. We actually have Mpact coming up on Saturday. It's about a week away. So I'm not sure how much free time I have until then, so I figured might as well get the car washed up, get it ready, because I probably don't plan on driving it too much. I got a lot to do this week, so I'll be driving the truck, but want to get this thing ready to go, so all I got to do is head out early in the morning on Saturday. Now, in my last video, I actually mentioned I was going to Impact, that I was going to be in the green lot, but if you guys have been following me on my Instagram, Auto Couture, who is the host of the meet, they are the main sponsor. They actually reached out to me and offered an extremely generous offer, and they actually asked me to be at their booth. So I will not be in the green lot, I'll actually be in the vendor lot, which is kind of the main show of the entire thing, and I'm gonna be front and center with Auto Couture Motoring with a bunch of other really cool cars. So if you guys want to check out the car or say hello to me or whatever, just talk cars, whatnot, I will be there Saturday, August 17th. I'll be there bright and early before the show gets started, and the car will be on display. So you guys can check out the car and everything, which I'm really excited about. I really don't do shows or meets anymore, but Mpact to me is a really special show. I went to the first one back in 2011, and it's kind of full circle moment for me coming back to it, 12 years later with the F80. So if you guys want to check out the car, I will be there with Auto Couture Motoring at their booth. Come say what's up, come say hello to the team, come check out the car. I'm looking forward to it. But let's go ahead and let's get the car washed up. It's pretty clean. I did drive through some rain the other day, so it's a little dirty, but for most people it's pretty clean. But we're gonna go ahead and get this knocked out. I'm actually really excited for this wash. It's been a little over a month actually since I've washed this car, but I'm actually going to be trying out the Bilt Hamber Touchless wash first. This is said to be pretty good stuff. Obsessed Garage, Matt, a lot of people use it now. So basically, it's before you foam, before you wash. It gets all the contaminants off and everything, a lot of it, and does a really good job. Since the car is not that dirty, it should do a pretty good job of getting most of the dirt off. I'm interested to see if it's going to be something that's going to be in my arsenal. Something tells me that it's going to be. So let's go ahead, let's get started. Let's start on the wheels, and then we can move over to washing the paint. This is my first wash in like over a month, which is pretty crazy. As you guys know, I don't drive this car every single day, but with the ceramic pads and it being ceramic coated, it stays so clean. I was actually went through some rain the other day, and it still looks pretty clean. Granted, there's still some on the back, on the trunk, it's a little dirty, but for the most part, it stays pretty clean, like the whole hood and everything, and it's pretty amazing. I'm pretty happy with the ceramic, how it's holding up and looking and everything. But yeah, Mpact is this coming weekend, and I am super excited. I haven't been to a show. As I mentioned, I don't do shows anymore. I'm not a big fan of them anymore. I used to go to them when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I'm not too big of a fan of them anymore. It seems to I don't know, just not my thing. But I'd much rather hang out with 5-10 good friends and just chill instead of hundreds of people. But Mpact is kind of one of those things that it's kind of special to me. I remember going to the first one down in Maryland in 2011. Jason, the guy who runs Mpact, the owner of it, him and I remember, and a few other guys helped promoted it and everything, and it was a good time. It was down at Raven Stadium in Maryland. Long drive for me. It was like four hours or so each way. But since then, they've moved it to the Pocono Raceway. It's only a little over 2 hours for me, so not as bad as 4. But I'm looking forward to getting back there. And as I mentioned, Auto Couture asked me to be at their booth, which is really, really kind of them and really awesome. So a lot of people are going to be able to see the car. It's not going to be lost in the giant green lot, so I'm excited about that. But I do have a few mods coming in this week. I finally have my Euro mirrors or sun visors coming in. I ordered them back May 26th from IND, which is crazy. They were on back order, which I wasn't aware of when I bought them. They told me 2 to 4 weeks. I'm like, all right, that sucks, but whatever, 2 to 4 weeks. It's now August. It's been over 2 months, and they finally shipped them out, or got them and then shipped them out. It's funny because I was like, hey, I'd like to cancel my order. I'm just going to order them from somewhere else. And they're like, oh, wait, they're going to be here Friday. I'm shipping them. And sure enough, they ship. So I don't know. It must just been a coincidence. But either way, those are finally coming in. So I haven't been running sun visors in my car for the last, what, 2.5 months. So it's going to be nice to have some visors back in the car. I also got a really nice piece for the engine bay to kind of complete it in a way. There's one piece that I really wanted to kind of touch and add something to. So I got a really nice part coming in for that. But yeah, I'll probably do that in Thursday's video. Just installing those things, and well, I don't know when that piece is going to come in, but maybe I'll release it on Friday. I don't know. We'll see. But that will be coming in, and should be ready. I'm excited. It feels good to not be in such a rush to get the car ready. It's just ready because I've been modifying it over the last 1.5 years or so, a little over a year, and I finally feel like it's at a point where I'm comfortable, I guess, showing it, or I feel like it's my vision currently, and I'm ready for people to see it. So I recently did a Q&A, question and answer, on my Instagram, and I love doing those things. I do them every maybe 1 to 2 months. I think it's really fun to kind of connect with you guys and, you know, talk cars and whatnot, and you guys can ask not personal questions, but questions that I wouldn't otherwise answer in a video or something, you know, just kind of real time responding to your guys' questions and stuff. And I love doing it. It's really fun. I always put a lot of thought into it. I'm not just like giving one-word answers, or, you know, I really like to take my time and answer your guys' questions. But I try my best to answer most of them, at least the ones that, you know, provide some value. At least that's what I'm trying to do, is give you guys at least some, you know, value in my responses and not just give some basic answers. But one of the questions that actually really resonated with me, I felt was my favorite question, and I guess response in that whole thing, was somebody said, you know, I'm a dad, you know, how do you afford an M3? How do you kind of do what you do? And it kind of made me reflect on where I've come from to where I am right now. And don't get me wrong, I know an M3 is not, you know, a Ferrari, it's not a Lamborghini, it's not the top of the world, but that's not what I'm going to be getting at here. Basically, my response was saying that you're right, it is hard. It is very hard being a dad, and, you know, doing the thing that I do and owning an M3 and modifying it and doing all this stuff. You know, it's hard. There's no question about it. There's no easy button. There's no easy way to do it. If it was easy, everybody would do it. That's the saying, right? Basically, my response kind of went into detail about my first M3. You know, back in 2009, I bought my E46 M3. I was fresh out of college. I was, what, 22 or something? I forget, around there. 21, 22. And I bought my E46 M3. It was a 2004 carbon black on cinnamon SMG. Boo. It was good though. I liked it. E46 M3. It had 26,000 miles. I bought it for $24,500 cash. Bought it all in. Just went with a check. Guy signed the title over to me, and I was on my way. And it was only like an hour and a half away from me. It was in New Jersey. It was local, so it worked out. But yeah, I bought that car. It was my life. I eat, breathe, sleep that car. It was my thing. It was the only thing that I was focusing on in my early 20s, when I was still living at home, trying to find my way and figure out what the heck I wanted to do in life. And then a few years later, I ended up buying a house with my girlfriend, who is now my wife. We bought our first house, and in that moment, instantly my mind shifted. And what I mean by that is that I started to realize that life is not just about cars anymore. It's not about materialistic things. It's not about what the next mod is and, you know, what can I do to make the car better. You know, you had to start thinking about other people. You know, other people were depending on you to live. And when I realized, you know, that moment, my mind shifted and I started thinking about other things other than cars. You know, we wanted to get our life started and everything, kids and all that. You know, I started thinking like, wow, do I really, is owning a car like this at this age, is it the best thing to do? And, you know, it was a paid off, so it wasn't costing us anything other than gas and insurance, but, you know, it just, something about that car sitting and me just kind of living this luxurious lifestyle in a way, it just didn't sit right with me. As much as I love that car and as much as I kind of associated myself with that car, I decided to end up selling it. So I parted out quite a bit of it. I drove it for like 20,000 miles or something like that over the 3.5 years, 4 years or so. And I sold it for 26. So I ended up making a few bucks on it after my ownership, which was nice. It's a beautiful car. It was absolutely perfect shape. I loved it. But it was a bittersweet moment for me. It was one of those things that I loved it so much, and it was kind of sad seeing it go. I remember it was getting loaded onto the truck, and my thoughts, I actually said it out loud. I said, damn, I'm never going to own an M3 again. And it was bittersweet, because I knew doing this would help us get our feet on the ground and ultimately, you know, get our life started. It ultimately allowed me to buy an engagement ring and put some cushion under our feet to be able to kind of get our life started. And I always joke with my wife every once in a while, I see the ring and I'm like, man, you know, you got an M3 on your finger, right? And, you know, she laughs about it, she knows, and she understands the sacrifice I made. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if I didn't do that, we wouldn't be where we are today. And it was hard at the time, and I'm not gonna lie, it was not the easiest thing, but it ultimately got our life started. And, you know, we started having kids and everything, and it really, it was a nice jump start to our lives. And 12 years later, 3 kids, different house, and I finally got another M3. So, moral of the story is, yes, being a dad and owning a car like this is hard. It's not easy. And I still pinch myself every single day that this is my car. And, well, not only this car, I have the truck as well. You know, I'm super grateful for where I am. And but what I'm saying is that it took 12 years to get back to the point where I was when I was in my young 20s, you know. Social media and all that, and all these people telling you what to do, and maybe you're not good enough because you don't have a car like this or whatnot, like this, it's such BS, because everybody's on a different path, everybody has different goals, everybody has a different, you know, direction. So don't let people, random strangers, tell you what you should be doing in life, you know, of what you should have to be successful. It's not it at all. You know, your time will come. This took me 12 years to get back to this point, and you know, your time will come. Just be patient. Oh, and I'm going to answer another question that I get a lot, and it was asked in the Q&A, and that is, hey, you know, I'm interested in an F80, F82. What should I look for? What are the, you know, problem areas? Where should I look to see if it was abused, that kind of stuff? And I came up with a pretty solid list, at least I think so. So if you are looking for one of these cars, they are fantastic cars. I've been talking about how great they are for the past year. But there's a couple things that you do need to look out for, and what I personally looked out for as well before I purchased this one. So I'll go over them with you. Figured it might be beneficial to somebody looking for a car like this, or any car for that matter, but these cars specifically. First thing I said was actually check the Carfax. Yeah, Carfax aren't usually the best way to tell how a car was maintained, but there's one thing on there that is really important, at least to me, and that is the 1,200 mile service. So basically, when these cars were new, After 1,200 miles, you had to go in for a service. Basically, they drain the oil, the break-in oil, and do a few other things here and there to get it ready for the next, million miles of ownership. And what I like to do is to check to see if that was done. And not only that it was done, but it was done prior to the 1,200 miles. And the reason why I look for it prior to 1,200 miles is because it's a good indication that the first owner actually cared for the car. Sometimes you'll see the car come in at like 1,600 miles for the 1,200 mile service. It's not the end of the world, but it's just one of those things. If it was my car, I'd be anxious just to get it done prior to the 1,200 or, around it, just so I can enjoy the car and, it's ready to go kind of thing. So always look for the 1,200 mile service. If you do not see it on there, I don't care if it was done, but it's not documented, move away. It's just something that I personally think is important to look for. Next thing is a PPI, pre-purchase inspection. Super, super, super important. While the car may look fantastic on the outside, a pre-purchase inspection at your preferred and selected shop. Don't let the seller or the dealer that you're buying it from choose the PPI shop. Find a very reputable shop in the area that you're purchasing the car, or somebody that knows a really good BMW shop, and bring it there yourself, or instruct the seller or the dealer to bring it there. Mainly because, if you're buying it from a specific dealer, they can take it to wherever they want, and they may have some connections and whatnot, and they may say, hey, don't tell the buyer this and whatnot, and we don't want to do that. So get a pre-purchase inspection, because it allows the owner or the new owner to potentially find some problem areas that you may not see on the outside. So you'll find them before you purchase the car. I know plenty of friends that have found cars that they loved and wanted to buy, did a pre-purchase inspection, and it ended up coming back bad, and they walked away from it, and it ended up saving them thousands and thousands of dollars because it was a problematic car. So get a PPI, get that done. It's only like 150, 200 bucks, maybe more depending on the shop. It's not that expensive. I'd rather spend a couple $100 to get it done, to find some areas or no problems at all, and you can decide for yourself from there if you want to buy the car. But really, really important. Second thing is, buy a bone stock M3. Don't buy one modified unless it's super well documented like mine. But find one completely stock. Open up the hood, check the bolts on the intake and certain areas of the engine bay to see if they've been tampered with, see if they've been moved, see if they they have some paint missing from them, to see if they've been loosened and tightened and whatnot. Maybe it's not a perfect indication that it's been modified, but odds are if bolts like that have been kind of tampered with, that's a good indication that it has been modified. But it's up to you if you want to buy it or not. Personally, I look for something that has been untouched, completely stock. Don't even bother with modified cars, because you don't want to pick up someone else's project and it become your story and the most expensive car you've ever owned. Trust me, you don't want to do that. Lastly, take a listen to the motor. It's a loud motor to begin with, the S55. It's very ticky. The lifters and everything, it's pretty loud. But if you hear any weird noises or anything, any rattling, odds are it's not normal. So maybe bring somebody that is a well-known S55 person that knows these motors and these cars, kind of help you out and that stuff. And obviously you want to check for dings, dents, any leaks, anything like that. Just kind of common stuff with any car. But for the most part, those are kind of the main things you want to look for when buying these kind of cars. Again, the PPI I think is the most important thing, because you want to make sure that there's no hidden issues with the car. They put it up on a lift, they look under, they check everything, and it's a good indication if the car is healthy or not just by doing a PPI. So we are going on to the Bilt Hamber Touchless wash. Now you have to dilute it. I think it was what, 2%? So I don't know the exact measurement. They do have a little measuring cup thing that you can use, but I'm gonna wing it here. I'm just gonna bring it up to the second notch there, then fill the rest up with water. That's what I do. Actually, I fill it up to the third notch with GSF when I wash, but I'll just do the the second notch for now, and it should be okay. Let's do 3. So let's try this out. That's 1, 2. Yeah, let's do 2.5 just to be sure. Alright, so if you can kind of see, it's just under the third. So I'm going to fill the rest up with water, spray the entire car down. You do not want to let this dry in the paint. So once the 5 to 10 minutes is up, just rinse it off. Then you can move on with your normal wash. Alright guys, so you probably saw me do one layer of it. I realized this nozzle, my spare one, just something's clogged in it. It wasn't putting out the foam like it should, so I switched over to my good one, and it foamed up really well. So I'm going to let this sit on for about 5-10 minutes, see what it does. Hopefully it pulls off a lot of the contaminants, a lot of the dirt and everything, then we can get to the normal wash. But man, I love seeing this car foamed up in the garage. It's such a cool look. Definitely going to be keeping an eye on here while it's in the sun. Don't want to let that dry. But yeah, 5-10 minutes, rinse it off, and then we'll throw some GSF on there and get to washing. Alright guys, so it's been about 7 minutes or so, so I'm going to go ahead and rinse it down. It's honestly looking pretty clean underneath, just by the runoff. I'm not gonna lie, it honestly looks like I just washed it, like by hand, with the normal wash mitt and GSF. You know, the little dirt that was on there is obviously off. The trunk looks crazy clean, which was the dirtiest part about the whole car after driving in the rain. And I'm not gonna, something about, and if I'm being honest, the gray almost looks like it's deeper. I don't know if it's just because I haven't washed the car in a month. It's probably the reason. But, I mean, I'm a fan. I do notice when you are rinsing it off, it kind of sticks to the panels a little bit more. So you kind of got to make sure you're getting everything off. That also might be the nature of it, kind of gripping onto the actual paint and the contaminants and it pulling off. And yes, this is safe for ceramics and everything. So, you know, it's not going to damage or deteriorate your coating that you have on here. As you can see, everything's still beading nice and runs off pretty easily, just like it normally did. So overall, I'm really impressed. And you know, I forget, I think it was like 30 bucks for that bottle. That's gonna last me a long time. I mean, look. I love it. All right, so car's pretty much clean. Honestly, if I had deionized water, I almost would just spray that down, then use the leaf blower and blow it completely off and be done. But I don't have one of those, so I'm just gonna do a normal wash. Plus, I guess I'm getting it ready for a show, so I guess I'll go the extra mile and wash it like I normally do. But I'm impressed. Definitely gonna be adding it to my arsenal and using it. But yeah, pretty sweet. All right, so we're gonna put some GSF in the bucket. I already have the mitt in there, as you can see, and just kind of put a decent amount in there. I don't measure anything. Just kind of used to how much to put in. Water line off, which is on a quick disconnect, and then just fill that up. And then I fill up the rinse bucket when it's done. And then we do the foam cannon. I know a lot of people with these setups like to do the water filler that Matt has, which is pretty nice, but I've been doing this for years this way and it works just fine. I have water right outside the garage here, so kind of adding a whole line coming into the garage is almost unnecessary, because even in the winter when I do wash in here, I just open up the garage a little bit and snake this hose underneath. It's fine. But maybe in the next garage we'll do a water filler. So now I'm gonna come over here and fill up our foam cannon here. I fill this up to the 3rd notch with GSF. And then we go over to the buckets. This, and I just fill it up from the rinse bucket. Give it a little mix, and then we'll foam it down. Lovely. I just went back and looked at the entire wash, and the lav mic that I had on died. So that full wash that I was just talking the entire time didn't have any audio, but I threw kind of a little, I don't want to say a montage because it was just pretty much one angle. But you can see me cleaning the car. Kind of a pain in the butt. I honestly forget what I was talking about. I'm kind of a little upset, but hey, it happens. But yeah, car is washed, rinsed down. Now I'm going to blow it off, get all the water off, and then we're going to go ahead and spray it down with some OG drying aid, kind of getting all the door jambs and all that stuff. Do a quick wipe down of the interior, and we should be good. So I'll show you guys that in a bit, and then we can wrap it up. All right, so I blew the whole car off. Now I'm going to do some drying aid on here. I did also get some Impac as well by Bilt Hamber, which is a rust inhibitor that you spray on the rotors to eliminate the amount of rust. I just use hides for now. It's been working pretty decently. Just spray a lot on there, and it seems to be doing the job okay. But I'm looking forward to trying out Impac as well. But yeah, I figured since the actual wash didn't record, we'll do a little talk as I'm doing the whole wiping the car down with some drying aid. But yeah, car's looking great. Haven't even wiped it down yet. Just a simple wash and looking amazing. So all right, so charged up the lav mic a little bit. Hopefully we get something out of this. But one thing I was talking about was somebody actually asked me in the question Q&A if I plan on keeping this car forever. You know, is it something that is it a forever car type of thing? And at this very moment, yeah. I mean, well, I shouldn't say forever car, but it's definitely a car I would like to hang on to for a little while. Although, you know, I'm a firm believer that everything is for sale at the right price kind of thing. I'll tell you now, I have over 40 into this with mods, and I bought this for what, 65? So we're over 100K in this car at this point, which is crazy to think. So no, I don't expect somebody to offer me 100 grand for this car and, you know, me be like, yeah, sure. No one's gonna spend 100 grand on an F80. I mean, maybe, but not holding my breath kind of thing. So I don't expect that. But, you know, it all comes down to where I'm at, where my mindset is at. You know, at this point, if someone came to me with a compelling offer, you know, as it sits, maybe. But it would have to make sense. You know, I wouldn't want to just sell this car and then not have the next adventure lined up kind of thing. I would want, you know, a car ready to go basically, or at least a plan in place. And for me, it's kind of just like the STI. I sold the STI knowing I was either going to get into a Porsche or an M3, and you know, it's kind of the same scenario. You know, the next thing for me is for sure a 911, hopefully a GT3. So I'm kind of, you know, it would have to make a lot of sense to let this go. You know, for a GT3, 100%, I would be, here you go, buy the car, I'm jumping ship. But at this point, you know, I'm just trying my best to kind of live in the moment. Past cars, I've always, well, not always, but in past cars, I have always just been looking for the next thing, the next car, the next mod, and it kind of took me out of the present and made me kind of regret selling the car down the line because I didn't get to enjoy it in the moment. And with this car, you know, day by day, I'm trying my best to enjoy it as best as I can. And I will say I'm very, very much so enjoying it. You know, I'm still just over a year into my ownership with this, and I haven't thought about seriously selling it at this point yet, which is a good sign that, you know, I'd like to hang on to this car. But we will see. You know, time will tell, and maybe this will be something that stays in the garage forever. I would like to get my wife a X5 M60i. I'm kind of obsessed with them. An X5M would obviously be awesome as well, but she just doesn't need that. She's a bigger Audi fan than BMW fan. Although it's growing on her. I mean, she likes BMWs, don't get me wrong. But I'm trying to get her on board for M60i. I think it's such a good looking SUV. Although it's not 3-row. You know, we do have 3 kids. 3-row is very, very nice to have with 3 kids because everybody's got their own space with the captain chairs or whatever you call them. You know, they're all under 10 at this point, so having their own space is nice. When they're in the truck, they're just straight across in the back row, and basically every single time we drive in the truck, there's a fight, someone touching one another and all that, so it's nice to have that 3-row, but we will see. All right, guys, so I actually ended up finishing the car because the mic died again. I didn't let it charge enough, but I let it charge for like an hour now, so we should be able to wrap this up. But I still need to do the engine bay, wipe that down with some drying aids. So, man, I love this engine bay. So I did say I had something coming for the engine bay, and that's actually a front support brace. So this piece right here. I actually found one from one of my followers. He never installed it. It's brand new. It's by a brand called Dinman. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the brand. It's really nice. This whole piece right here, this whole support, radiator support, it's all carbon. It's in gloss. Really nice. So that should be in before Impact, which I'm excited about. And should look really, really nice. It's kind of one of the only things that I wanted to do, or the only things left I had to do in the engine bay to kind of tie everything in. But otherwise, there's not much I would like to change in here. It's absolutely perfect. Now, eventually in the future, I would like to possibly change up the caliper color. I would love to do the ceramic gold. I just think that's a beautiful color. And then when I would do that, I would change up the caps to the gold as well, which would be really, really nice. That's also kind of a snowball effect because I'd want to do the low class garage brace in the gold as well. So it would be kind of just doing everything, but I think it would look really nice, and I think it would go well with kind of what I got going on in the car, and I think it would tie in really well. But yeah, so that's coming in. I'll do a video on that depending on when it comes in. Hopefully I can do it at the same time as the Euro sun visors, so I could just knock that out in a video and kind of show you everything I got going on, or at least coming in. Still waiting for that ultimate clutch pedal, the UCP clutch pedal. Supposed to be back in stock September, so I'll be snagging one of those. Supposedly there was a company that had them in stock, but I reached out, emailed, and reached out so many different times, different ways, and they just not getting back to me for whatever reason. So just gotta wait until ECS or Turner Motorsports gets them back in, and I can just snag one from there. But yeah, that's coming in. Should be really nice. And yeah, this car's really coming together. So super happy. The look, the feel, the sound, everything about it. It's kind of rare these days to kind of nail all those points in such a short time. Again, I've only had this car since June of last year, so it's gone by pretty darn quick, and we've done a lot in a very, very short time. So it's interesting to see how quickly this car came together. Although I've been planning it for years and years and years, because it's something that I've always wanted to do. And I kind of knew the direction I wanted to go. But yeah, looking forward to that coming in. Should be really nice. And finish off the engine bay. Alright guys, so that is going to wrap up the wash and talk. I apologize for the entire wash not being talked through because of the audio issue. But I was able to get some of the thoughts and kind of things I discussed in kind of wiping down the car and everything. So if you are going to Impact on August 17th, Saturday, make sure you stop by the Auto Couture booth. I will be there with this car on display, and you guys can check the car out, and I'll be around so you guys can say what's up and everything. It's going to be great to be able to put some faces and names, spend some time with the car, and just, you know, enjoy the M community that I've been out of for so long, and glad to be back. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah guys, that's going to do it for this one. All the products and everything I use in this video is going to be in the description, so if you want to pick up anything that I used, be sure to check it out below. If you guys have any questions at all, be sure to ask them below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple. I'll catch you guys in the next one.